Alrighty, how's it going, everybody? This is BP News once again, Blazing Press channel. If you didn't know what the BP stood for, it's a short version of Blazing Press. So for all those that are hanging out once again to hear the news, that's what we're going to do is dive right into it. We are on the precipice of a major war, possibly with Colombia as well. And we may, in fact, probably go into, Brazil? Because Brazil's having they're all up in arms, and up in civil, I don't know what's going on there. There's some kind of terrorism going on with the narcos, and the government's standing down in a certain way, I guess, or being overwhelmed. Who knows? Maybe they're just trying to appease Trump. Maybe Brazil's a part of the drug cartels. I know that there's some kind of relationship between that one cartel, or what they call the narco terrorists. They got to give it a more menacing name, because we're going in there to break things and kill people. And we're probably, how many $1 million bounty is on the president's head of Venezuela? I guess it would be the president. Maduro, what's the bounty? Is it like $20 million, or is it $50 million? I can't remember. I think it's like $20 million, right? So that's all fixing to happen. Trump just said, it just says Trump denies reports that he's planning strikes on Venezuela. This was 10 hours ago. And then the Hill says military strikes on Venezuela appear increasingly likely. And now we're staging. All these assets are right there on the coast. You got states of alert. There's the highest alert for that island right up out off the shore. I forget what they call the island. I have it right there. We'll look at it in a minute. ABC News says, what would strikes on Venezuela look like? U.S. target list expected to include ports, airports used by drug smugglers. And then the list is probably the presidential headquarters. I know they're going to try to get him. But, he's saying he's not going to do it. But this is the same thing he said right before he struck Iran, remember? He was supposed to negotiate with them. He had all their guard down so that they could be decapitated. It was like he was saying, "Hey, we got a deal. I'll take care of you. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just be calm. We'll take care of this." And then all the while he knows the Israelis are coming around the back to assassinate them all. So how can you trust somebody that's done that already? How many leaders in the world watch that happen and are gonna be like, yeah, right, Trump, we trust him. Yeah, we trust him. He's he negotiates in good faith. We trust his word. His word is his bond. Kind of like Dumb and Dumber when they had all those IOUs. Our word is our bond. You don't want to miss that one. That's a Lamborghini. That's a good one. 150K, 150,000. Don't forget that one. Our word is our bond. We'll pay you back every penny. Right. Trump counters reports of possible Venezuela strike, but you'll see. You can see right now all the assets are in line and are moving into position. I'll show you guys some of the interesting developments there too. This was 9 hours ago. U.S. Venezuelan tensions. Trump ready to bomb Venezuela. And they moved the mother of all. What do they call it? The mother of all. No, I'm sorry, not the mother of all. They call it the mothership. It's a special forces mothership, and it's made to look like a civilian. It almost looks like a cruise ship, but it's made to look like a civilian ship, so as to stealthily not be detected. But it has all kinds of features that help facilitate an attack. Like jet skis. They got jet skis. They got little small boats, that pop out of it. It's a mothership. They call it the mothership. I was reading the comments on the video, and there was a guy that was he said, I was special forces for 30 years. I don't know how you're special forces for 30 years. I mean, don't you got to be in good shape to be so? Anyway, he said in the comments, I've never heard of anything like this ever since when I was in. There was no such thing as a mothership, a special forces mothership. But anyway, this special forces mothership just left Puerto Rico. And it has everything. It has underground. It has like an under deck landing. Everything is like stealth. So if anybody's looking at it, they won't know what it is from satellite. It looks just like a civilian ship. But hey, like I'm sure that thing just sticks out like a sore thumb. I don't think it's anyway not going to be detected by people like Maduro. I'm sure they're watching that thing like a hawk. At least it's all out in the news. Everybody knows about it. So maybe that's something that they didn't want people to know about, but it's there. Times of India says Trump is about to bomb Maduro within hours. But let's go ahead and look at some of this. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about the snap. Oh, snap, the food apocalypse and possible. Now, Trump has stated, now I was looking at this earlier this morning. I wanted to go on earlier tonight and do a few different streams, but like I said, I have to prepare for winter. We almost are there. We've got a straight 7 or 8 days of rain and snow's coming too. So I have to prepare really quick, last minute. So that's why I wasn't on today, because I've just been working all day trying to get everything done. And but like I said, I'll have free time now that it's going to be raining. I'm not going to be out there in the rain or the snow. Well, the snow is easier to work in, but I hate to be in the rain and get wet. And it's really cold. So we're going to be streaming a lot now. So that's why we haven't been on as much. I thought I was going to be on today more. There's so many things going on. I wanted to cover everything, but here we are. We're going to do it now. Let's get into it. God bless. And just want to say hello really quickly to everybody in the chat. I know I don't mean to ignore everybody right when I come on. Love Pugs. Hey, Love Pugs. I see that you're a member. God bless. I see we had a couple new members just recently sign up to the channel. Good to see all you out there, Ven Compro and Ted Bell and Jose Costa, MAGA, Troy Hamilton. What's happening? Texas Anna. It is the pagan holiday, Halloween, and if you're celebrating that, just understand it's a demon holiday. You're indirectly giving place to demons, if you didn't know that. But it is definitely a bad situation that's unfolding right now in the world that seems to be all coinciding with the 1st of November. And then all this is going to happen on the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. This is all in light of what they believe to be Trump's. Now, Trump is making it seem, this is what he said. Let's go ahead and just tell you exactly what Trump said, and I'm going to analyze it from my point of view of what I think he's actually doing. Now, I think they're both, Democrats and Republicans are both at fault, but I think Trump is capitalizing on this politically. He's using this situation because, he didn't say anything until just now. Like, this is just the last hour, and then he makes a statement blaming the Democrats right at the last minute, trying to say, hey, I'll open it up. Hey, I told you I'd open it up. I'll do it, but the Democrats don't want me to. I'm trying. I'm doing everything I can, working the levers back here, trying to get it all fixed. This last day, but it's going to be late. It's going to be late. It's the Democrats' fault, but, even if I can get it through and finagle here in the back end, the payments will come through, but they're going to be late. They may not be on time. Are people going to freak out when it doesn't come on time? Because he fixed the military pay pretty quick, but what about this? So, a lot of people are torn between wanting this to be kind of a message to those who are gaming the system, that are taking advantage of it, There's a lot of people out there that are taking advantage of this. Freebies. Which is a bad thing. But there are people that need it, And those people shouldn't be harmed by the bad apples, but they do need to have some checks and balances there. Maybe that's why we need digital ID and digital tracking, and they need to get that that biometric surveillance inside of our body to see, are you really hungry, or are you just getting all these freebies for some other reason? We're going to surveil you. Are you spending that SNAP money in the right way? Are you trying to sell it off, or what are you doing with that SNAP money? Are you buying cigarettes with it? What are you doing with all that free money? So that surveillance is necessary. Right? No, I don't know. I just made that one up. But anyways, let's go ahead and look at our Telegram page. For those who don't follow us on Telegram, you need to follow us over here on Telegram. Telegram is the place you want to be. So keep up on our Telegram page, because this is where all the news breaks right here in real time. We monitor many channels, all foreign and domestic. And we look at the forums, we look at the social media, we look at Telegram. Telegram's a very good resource, just so that you know. We got lots of channels. We have a whole list of channels that we have pop up on our feed, so we know when things are happening. Pretty quick. I'd say quicker than most, right? So here we go. Satellites show that U.S. warship is positioned for possible strikes in Venezuela. This is according to Newsweek. This is our devotional moments here that we have with our people here. This is a great song, by the way. Sons of Korah, Psalms 94. Just really quick, just take a look at this. It says, the Lord who avenges is a God who avenges. He shine forth, rise up and judge the earth. Pay back to the proud what they deserve. I hope you're not proud, because there's payback. You're not going to get away with taking advantage and, being consumed with your own self, because God doesn't bless. In the end, some people may think, oh, well, I'm blessed, I got lots of money. That's nothing. That doesn't mean anything. That's a very short, fleeting, it says money will take up wings like a bird and fly away. It'll be over very quickly. You watch. People don't realize how short life is anyway. But what really matters is that your heart is right. How long will the wicked be jubilant? And they pour out arrogant words. All the evildoers are full of boasting. Who do you know that boasts? Boasting is a terrible thing. It tells you not to praise yourself anyway, right? Let another man's lips praise you and not your own. Yeah, if you're always praising yourself and always speaking large swelling words, you might fall into the category of what the Antichrist is, because that's what it says about the Antichrist. It says he will speak arrogantly and he will speak boastfully. And who do you know that speaks more boastfully than any person you've ever known on planet Earth in the history of the world? Because he is historic, right? He is the greatest of all time. He's even worse than Muhammad Ali. You know how Muhammad Ali always used to talk about how awesome he was? But anyway, but he actually did something too. But Muhammad Ali was a pretty good fighter. But they pour out arrogant words. All the evildoers are full of boasting. They crush your people. They oppress your inheritance. They slay the widow and the foreigner. They murder the fatherless. They say the Lord does not see. The God of Jacob takes no notice. Take notice, you senseless ones among the people, you fools. When will you become wise? There is payback. The Lord will pay back. He is the God of vengeance. We don't need to take vengeance, and that's not our job. We give it all to God, and God ultimately sorts it out. In the end, He's gonna separate and sift, and He's gonna knock the wolves upside the head with His staff. So you sheep out there, don't worry about it. Even though you're sent out like sheep amongst wolves, let the shepherd deal with them. Amen. Does He who fashioned the ear not hear? Does He who formed the eye not see? Does He who disciplines nations not punish? No, He does. He does punish, and punishment is coming. Does He who teaches mankind lack knowledge? The Lord knows all human plans. He knows that they are futile. It's futile. If you're walking in your own selfish ambition and your own the imagination of your own understanding, you are a small package. You need the wisdom that comes from God. And ultimately, he has it all. He owns it all. He made it all, including you and I. And he knows what makes you tick. He knows when you're wrong and he knows when you're right. And the only way you can be good is if you're one with God. Because there is only one good, and that is God alone. Isn't that what Jesus said? There's only one good and God alone. Now, if God's with you and he's for you, then you don't have to worry. But anyways, look at this. This was a video I just posted, a compilation of the collapse of the USA. It's just basically kind of like a poll, a barometer, videos that are popping up all over YouTube and all over social media of people talking about how prices are increasing on everything, except for eggs, of course, because that was a big yelling, screaming fit that the whole world had was about eggs. Well, he fixed that. You know, it's kind of like, well, you just fix the greasy wheels and then shut everybody up with AI, shut down social media, virals. They can do that, by the way, with the tools they have. They can shut down viral stuff. But, hey, you took care of eggs and you got gas prices down. That makes me feel good. Because, hey, as long as gas is low and I got eggs, I'm good. Doesn't matter that insurance is through the roof. It doesn't matter that beef prices are up and everything else is up. Produce is up. Electric bills are up. Gas, water, everything's up. It doesn't matter. Prices from foreign imports, it doesn't matter. As long as gas prices are low and eggs are low, I'm good. And by the way, they're culling chickens again. So who knows? Maybe eggs are going to go skyrocketing again. There's diseases out there. And by the way, they said there's a new pandemic coming. It's just like COVID, but it's coming from South America this time. Did you see that? Another COVID, but it's coming from South America. Perfect timing. Pentagon says that 23,500 troops for U.S. cities, fears grow of major civil unrest. This is according to the Economic Times. Did you know that? How many of you guys knew that this was going on? This is coming from economictimes.com. Okay, this is not a small publication. This is legit. You want to read the article, just come over here and click this link. President Trump speaks aboard Air Force One. He says, Trump on renewing U.S. nuclear bomb testing. Quote, we're going to do some testing. Oh, we're going to test some nukes. Wow. Yeah, other countries do it. So if they're doing it, then we're going to do it. They're going to jump off a cliff. We're going to jump off with them. Hey, why not? Let's just bring this party to a head. Let's just go ahead and nuke the whole planet. Why not? It's the end times. Oh, but wait, Trump said, if I remember, he would not let the end times happen. He would not let the end of the world take place, according to what the prophet said in the Bible. He said that out of his own words. I'm not going to let it happen. And he said it twice. He emphatic. When you say something twice, that's emphatic. You're making a statement that much more powerful, right? Say it twice, Trump. I will not let the end times happen according to what the prophet said. I'm not going to let it happen. It's not going to happen on my watch. He said that. But it could happen somewhere else. Like it could happen in Venezuela. Why not in Venezuela? It won't happen in the Middle East, though. But it could happen somewhere else. Let's just nuke some other countries then. Oh, by the way, the countries that Trump brought peace to, I think it's Pakistan and Afghanistan. Was it Pakistan and Afghanistan? Yeah, they're at it again. And it's looking like it's going into chaos again. So much for that piece. That war that was solved, that one's not solved, I guess. So he says, we're going to go ahead, and they're going to start testing nukes, just like they did back in the 50s. Remember when they were making these big tests so everybody could see them? Like the Tsar bomb. Remember that? And the Russians tested that thing. It was the biggest nuke that has ever gone off on planet Earth. And that scared the crap out of everybody. So that's what they're going to start doing. Crude oil prices are spiking after a relative calm few months. I noticed that prices were a lot lower at the gas pumps recently, but I'll bet you, this is when I went out to go get gas, this is what I was thinking today. I'm going to tell the people when I get on a live stream, I'm going to tell everybody, get yourself a big barrel and fill up. This is the time to fill it up. Fill up a couple barrels. You get a 55-gallon barrel. If you have the ability to fill up gas, do it now. And you got some extra cash, go do it now and have some gas. 100 or so gallons. I don't know. It depends on what you want to do because it's so low right now. I mean, the gas prices are low where I'm at right now. This is like unheard of. $2.89 a gallon. Now there might be a lot lower prices where you're at, but where we are, that's very low. It's been hanging out there at about $3.50 to $3.80, right around there, and it just kept going down, and now we're down below $2 or $3. So I'm like, dang, this is a great price to fill up. And I felt like telling everybody, you guys ought to get out there and prepare because it's going up, especially when we go to war with Venezuela or the Middle East. If it goes up with Iran, that's it. That stuff's still fixing to happen, guys. That's not all of a sudden disappearing here. I'm telling you. Trump is going to do something. He's got the mindset to do something crazy. I'm telling you. You watch. So look at this. This is always what happens before a war breaks out. GPS gets jammed. And they do this on purpose so that they can blind the enemies before they come in. They turn off everything. They attack GPS coordinates so that they can't see where everything is, and it's just like jamming radar, right? And this is Venezuela. Look at what they're doing. This happened today. GPS blackout hits Venezuelan coast. Phones are lost. Phones aren't lost, satellites are. Massive GPS interference just lit up northern Venezuela and Trinidad like a Christmas tree, and nobody's saying why. This started out of nowhere. This kind of jamming doesn't just happen. Planes, boats, and anyone trying to navigate with a phone, good luck. You're not going anywhere. You're going to be like looking at an empty navigation. The lady's going to be like, when you do your phone and you're going somewhere and it's like turn right at the next light 2 miles, she's gonna be like, I don't know where I'm at, so please reboot. We don't have any coordinates to give you. We're sorry. Please try again later. All right, so if you want to be a part of this, we do this usually in the mornings, mid-mornings, sometimes early afternoon. Devotional, scripture reading, prayer time, fellowship with the remnant. Those who are, I was going to say those who are wise, you'll be there. But hey, if you got the Spirit of the Lord and you're led by the Spirit, you'll be there. All right? I know that sounds, like we think we've got it all together, but we don't. But we know that he does lead, even though this is why we get led, because we understand we don't have it all together. We need the Lord, right? And if you think you don't need the Lord, then you're sadly mistaken. You better be trusting him for everything, including wisdom, including physical strength, including resources, the way it should be given to you, not the way you want it, because if you get what you want, it could be the worst thing that you could ever have. Some people get what they want, and then they end up regretting. They wish they'd never had it. Like people that win the lottery, they say the majority of people that win the lottery, they say they wish they never had won it. It screwed up their whole life. So just understand, just because you get what you want doesn't mean that you're going to be satisfied. It could be the worst thing. Submarine was spotted off the coast of Fort Lauderdale. This was a YouTube video showing a nuclear submarine. Now, it's got to be one of ours, I'm guessing. It didn't say in the article, or it didn't say in the YouTube. But, yeah, that's kind of crazy. Right off of Fort Lauderdale. Oh, they're saying that these USOs, you know what those are? Unidentified submersible object, they're happening everywhere. Did you see that one with the green light underneath the water? That's legit. Those are all legit videos. They're saying that they're happening by the hundreds all over the coasts, these unidentified submersible objects. There was one that was chronicled that was going a couple of 100 miles an hour under the water. What the heck is that? That's like a UFO underwater, they say. I don't know, man. I don't know how something goes 200 miles an hour. Now, I know that I think it's the Chinese. They have this technology for these, what do they call them? Submarine missiles. What do they call them? What are those things called? I forget what they're called. Anyway, you know, the launch of a missile underneath the water. I don't know why I can't remember the name. Anyways, this technology they have basically creates a bubble of air at the head of the torpedo. There you go. Somebody said it. Did somebody tell me? Because I heard it in my head. Torpedo. Okay, so the torpedo goes with an air pocket around it so that it's able to go faster. I'm not sure how fast they can get it to go, but those torpedoes can go a lot faster than ours. Our technology, I don't think we have that yet. Has anybody heard about that? Torpedoes, yeah. Jose Costa, yeah, thank you. So, there you go. Torpedo technology. Is that what we're seeing? All of these USOs? I was just looking at a post on that. Mainstream media is talking about it 4 or 5 days ago. It says here, USOs off the coast of the United States. It says that green one was very strange. I don't know what that was. Navy crew sees UFO off Southern California coast. The Navy crew. This was a Navy crew. This one is UFO tracker. Let's see. Mysterious UFOs are being spotted along U.S. coast. This is Newsweek about 4 days ago. Let's see. Is this the one? Strange lights, unexplained objects, and mysterious movements beneath the waves have been appearing off of U.S. coastlines in numbers that are leaving both scientists and UFO enthusiasts stunned. A recent report, now this is a Newsweek article, a recent report by UFO tracking app Enigma reveals that thousands of sightings of unidentified submersible objects, USOs, have been logged near rivers, lakes, oceans, suggesting that unexplained phenomena are not confined to the skies. Some of these objects reportedly rise from the depths or plunge into the water without leaving a splash, defying conventional physics. What the heck is it? The sheer volume and consistency of these reports challenge traditional explanations for UFOs. While aerial sightings have long been treated skeptically, the underwater dimension adds a new layer of complexity. If verified, USOs could represent either highly advanced technology or an entirely unknown phenomenon, raising urgent questions about national security, scientific inquiry, and humanity's understanding of the natural world. And it goes on, this article about this, but they show a whole bunch of sighting areas where these things have been seen. You got to kind of wonder, like, what in the world is this? Right? Look. Check this out. Look at this. So these are where all the sightings are happening, all along the coast. It seems like more are happening up there by New York for some reason. But yeah, this is, like I said, this is a Newsweek article here. Newsweek. Lots of mysterious sightings. What is going on? Unexplained evidence. Some reports include phone camera footage capturing green lights traveling beneath the ocean surface, leaving viewers questioning whether these are natural anomalies, secret military experiments, or something else entirely. Such evidence, while limited, adds a tangible element to the reports that are often dismissed as fantasy or misidentification. Well, I wanted to show you guys that green one. That one has gone viral. I don't know if you saw that. How many of you guys out there saw that green green USO. And a USO is an underwater submersible object, right? So check this out. So this is let me pull this down so you can see it correctly here. It's too small. All right, here we go. All right, look at this. Let's see if we can.
Not at night.
Let's just turn off the sound here. So this is what people were seeing. Look at that. What in the world is that? What is that? There's another one out there too. Look, there's two of them. People are freaking out. They don't know what it is. And this was a ship in the bay that was looking at this out in the middle of nowhere. Like, I mean, they're way away from the shore. And they're like, what is this? I mean, what the heck is it? And there's two of them. Look, you can see the other one. See, look, they're showing the same map that I just showed. Like I saw another one. See, there's another one out there. See that other one out there? There's like two of them. So I want to see if we can find the original. If we can find the original post on YouTube. Let's see if we can find it. What the heck is that? Green Glow US. So this was 4 years ago. This was 4 years ago. This one here was 4 years ago. So this is another interesting video that was 4 years ago. Look at that. They saw it 4 years ago. The same thing. This video is from 4 years ago. Mysterious Things chronicled it. Look, only 800 views. That's it. It only got 800 views. But don't you think that's crazy? Look at that. The same thing. It only got 800 views, though. Look at that. Nobody knows about this one. I mean, 800 views is hardly anything. So this happened 4 years ago. Let's listen to see what they're saying. Look at this. Let's listen.
And it keeps flashing too. And he going to stay on the water for 2 minutes. Yeah, that's how you record it. You know we went into something. Just one person illuminating that right? Yeah, that'll. Oh, it's moving. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and it keeps flashing too. Like, and he going to stay on the water for 2 minutes.
So what do you think that is? Oh, you couldn't hear that. Shoot. Sorry about that. I didn't have the sound on. I'm sorry. Just listen to what they're saying really quick. Just real quick.
Flash. And he going to stay on the water for 2 minutes. Or super job.
We're trying to figure out what this is off of the.
It blows up. Yeah, that's how you record it. You know we witnessing something.
Some guy said it was probably scuba.
Scuba?
Some guy down there saying somebody's scuba diving.
Just one person illuminating that brightly? Yeah, that'll. Oh, it's moving? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and it keeps flashing too. Like,
All right, so that's kind of weird. That was a 4 year ago thing, but this one was caught recently, and it's making all the rounds on social media. So like, I don't know what it was. I know there's a lot of fake stuff now with AI. Let's see, USO. It's not even on YouTube except for this one here. 2 days. This is just the same one. I mean, you never know. A lot of this stuff could be like, see, like this is all AI stuff. Like you see how AI is doing this now. People are like, I don't know if that's AI or not. You know, like you're looking at AI stuff, and that's true. Sometimes you can't tell. It looks pretty good, especially now. I mean, look.
Holy shit! Oh my god!
I mean, didn't that look good? I mean, it looked good, but obviously that's probably AI. I mean, you're not going to be able to believe your eyes from now on, they say. You know, with all the new technology that's making it video look so real now, you almost can't even tell. There's still, AI hasn't gotten so good now that you can't, that you can still kind of distinguish that it's AI, but it's getting to the point where it's going to get so good that you won't be able to tell. And that's the part that people don't realize, that it's learning so much right now, and it's growing in its ability to mimic reality, that this is another reason why they say everybody needs to have a digital ID, and that you can't go online without logging in and knowing that it's you. Otherwise, somebody might fake something in your name and make you say something that you didn't want to say, or it could be a political thing. It could be, there's all kinds of things that have been happening with AI. Did you hear about the ones where they took the girl's voice and they replicated and called her mother and said that she was pretending like she was, the AI voice was pretending like it was her daughter, saying that she was kidnapped and that there needs to be a ransom, and that this is where you can send the money. And she wasn't even kidnapped, but her mother heard her daughter on the phone, and somebody was using her voice to say it, and called the mother to try to get money out of them. Is that weird? And that happened not too long ago. But I mean, can you see how bad things can go? Seriously. That's kind of crazy. Let's see if I can find that green UFO thing. It's just so weird that you can't find it now. How come I can't find it anymore? That's really weird. All right, is this it? This might be it here. Yeah, no, this is not it. This was a year ago. Oh, well. I'll have to sit here and look for it. Okay, here's the Reddit one. Oh, this is the News Nation one. Okay. Well, I'll find it. Maybe I'll upload it onto my channel when I find it, because it's hard to find. I don't know why it's hard to find. That's kind of weird. All right, so let's get back to the news here. So it says airspace over Puerto Rico, Saliba, Puerto Rico, declared as national defense airspace. The Pentagon clears and approves giving Ukraine long-range Tomahawk missiles. What? That is crazy. That's according to Disclosed TV. Whoa, that's big-time news. That's big-time news. A notice to all airmen, issued by the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, for a temporary flight restriction over the airspace in Ciaba, Puerto Rico. That's on the way to Venezuela. So this is why they're preparing. I think it's Obongo or Tiango. Let me see. See the name of that. All right, the Venezuela island is called See if I can find the name of that island. Aruba? No, it's not Aruba. It was like two. Anyway, they're on heightened alert, whatever. Oh, yeah, Trinidad. Trinidad and Tobago. So Trinidad and Tobago, right there, this one right here, they are on high alert. And this is right off the coast right here of the eastern part of Venezuela. And they're basically of the highest alert militarily that they can be on in preparation for an imminent invasion of the U.S. into Venezuela. Now, all the oil fields, I bet you anything the oil fields are out here, because the oil fields are what we're really after. Let's see if we can find a map of Venezuelan oil fields. Let's check this out. How much you want to bet they're over there on the east? Map. Let's look and see. How much you want to bet? Here's where all the oil deposits are in Venezuela. Oh, look at what we've got here. Let's see. Uh-huh. So we would want to be coming in right in here, right? This is what we want to take over. Well, where's Caracas? Caracas is up. Isn't there a capital up here? Look at all the oil infrastructure. And they got their oil pipelines coming in through here. Up in here. This is the biggest oil deposit in the world, they say. Some of the biggest oil deposits in the world. All of the major oil companies are here. And you know, I've heard it said, and I do believe this, is the reason why we're there. It's to get the energy. It's to get the oil. You know, to the winner go the spoils, Trump said. He was talking about how, we go to war, but we never take anything. We never pay ourselves. We get, the spoils of war are supposed to go to the victor. Why would he say that? Because he plans on taking resources when he goes to war. He says we do things stupidly. That's the way we've done things in the past. When we go to war, we do things stupidly. So we need to take resources, he said. So here's the resources right here, right? This is our AI generation right here. This is what's going to keep our AI growing. It's going to keep powering the beast. It's going to keep supplying its, blood. This is the blood of the beast. This oil deposit right here is the blood that keeps flowing, keeps growing this AI beast. This is why your energy prices are through the roof. This is why Trump doesn't want, he's trying to keep, he wants to try to fix that so he can keep doing what he wants to do, right? Because if he lets everybody go crazy, it's gonna prevent him from accomplishing his goals around the world, right? So he has to kind of calm us down a little bit. So he has to somehow get those prices down a little bit, So, I mean, we're pretty much taking a lot already as a society and not literally losing it. But I think that we're getting close to losing it. Just like Gerald Celente said, when people have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And that's what happens when you see people losing everything that they think they have. They end up losing it. What is this? Okay, so this is the NOTAM, I think. Yeah, temporary flight restrictions. So this might be in preparation for an attack, so they're saying. Remember when Trump said that he would not strike Iran? And then within the next few hours, B-2 bombers were up, and guess what happened? We struck Iran. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro asks Russia, China, and Iran for immediate military support. Oh, really? Let's see if we got a link on that. Kind of curious. Washington Post. Washington Post pleads with Moscow and Beijing for help. Washington Post. Oh, gee. They want us to pay. See it right there. Washington Post, for some reason, makes you pay. But what you do is you just copy the URL. If you ever want to get past this and you don't want to have to pay to see the site, you go to archive.is. Archive.is. You type in the URL right there, and then you press save. And then guess what? Somebody archived it. You know why? Because everybody does this. And if somebody hasn't archived it yet, then you will archive it. You will be a part of helping to archive the internet. And guess what? Now you can read it. Hello? You don't have to pay to go read it. So this is a pretty long article. You definitely want. I'm gonna attach it. This article will be attached to our Telegram page, so you can go read it if you want. Let's go ahead and add that on there. That link there. All right, there you go. So we put the link there on the Venezuela one. Okay, there you go. So here's the link right here. See? You can come over here and click it, and you'll be able to see it. U.S. is poised to strike military targets in Venezuela in escalation. And this is according to, what is this one? This is Miami Herald. Miami Herald. This is Miami Herald right here. See, this is archived too, right? They probably charge you too to see the news. We don't charge you to see the news, and we compile it right here. Look at that, $25 million bounty on Maduro. That's a pretty large bounty. I was trying to figure out how much it was. I thought it was like 20, but it's actually 25. Quite a large sum of money for a narco-terrorist's head. Is he really a narco-terrorist? I don't know. I think that there is some things that are but do we really, I really think there's a lot more reasons why we're doing this. So this basically chronicles what's about to go down. And this was dated today, October 31st. We're getting ready to hit them. And I wouldn't be surprised if you wake up tomorrow and you are looking at the news and it says, not only are there riots happening all over the country, but we're at war with Venezuela. Now, I don't know. Maybe Trump's going to try to pull it back he is trying. He said he's trying, but it's going to be late. The payments for the SNAP benefits may be late. Do you think that the American people are going to care? They're not going to riot because they're coming, but they're going to be late? You think they trust Trump enough to hold him at his word? Oh yeah, they're going to come, don't worry. They're just coming late. And it's all the Democrats' fault anyway, right? It's all the Democrats' fault. And I'm going to read you what Trump said about the SNAP benefits, because he's basically saying this. It's an interesting post there. Okay, so here's what Trump said. Where did he put this? Okay. And by the way, he was hanging out with Xi Jinping from China, and I just couldn't understand, why was he so buddy-buddy with China? China, it just seems so odd, the way he was acting with Xi Jinping there. Okay, here it is. That's not it. What the heck? Where did I see that at? They haven't posted it yet here. Okay, so they haven't posted it on Telegram yet, but it's on Truth Social. Let's go over to Truth Social and look. For some reason, whoever runs this Truth Social site doesn't always update on time. But here it is. This is Trump's Truth Social. So he says, our government lawyers do not think we have the legal authority to pay SNAP with certain monies that we have available, and now 2 courts have issued conflicting opinions on what we can and cannot do. I do not want Americans to go hungry just because the radical Democrats refuse to do the right thing and reopen the government. See, and I'm sure that the Democrats are putting in their heels for a reason. There's got to be a reason, and I'm sure that the reason is that they both Democrat and Republican, are trying to gain some kind of advantage politically. And this is the altruistic motive of the Republicans. They want to feed people. They want the poor to be happy. It's the dastardly Democrats that don't want this, right? Therefore, this is what Trump says. Therefore, I have instructed our lawyers to ask the court to clarify how we can legally fund SNAP as soon as possible. I'm glad that he's all of a sudden addressing this finally at the last minute. You know, like, couldn't he have addressed this like weeks ago? Couldn't this have all been looked into weeks ago? Why at the last minute? It just seems like this is the very last second. It is already delayed enough due to the Democrats keeping the government closed. There we go. It's the Democrats keeping it closed. It's already been delayed too long. Through the monthly payment date, and even if we get guidance from the lawyers, right, on what to do, it will unfortunately be delayed while the states get the money out. It's going to be delayed. How long? A week? 2 weeks? I mean, is that going to be enough for people to start rioting? They're still not getting their check in their pocket. They're going to be like, that's it. If we are given the appropriate legal direction by the court, it will be my honor to provide the funding, just like I did with the military and law enforcement pay. The Democrats should quit this charade where they hurt people for their own political reasons and immediately reopen the government. If you use SNAP benefits, call the Senate Democrats and tell them to reopen the government. Now, here's crying Chuck Schumer's office number. Now, on the surface, that looks like, yeah, Trump's probably right. You know, the Democrats are holding it hostage in a certain way. But at the same time, I think Trump was playing this all along to the very last minute, just so he could do this. And then that would hurt people. You know, it would cause people panic and fear. Like when you have panic and fear and all kinds of upheaval going on, as president, shouldn't you have addressed this a long time ago when it first started? Don't you get ahead of a situation? Oh, no, we're going to be talking about the ballroom that he's going to be building. It's gone up now, $350 million ballroom. No, we're going to go and a dance over here in Japan and get our crown over in North Korea, and let's just go all over the world. But don't worry about what's going on there. We don't have time for that right now. I got too many other things to do. But I'll address that at the last second, and then blame the Democrats. Come on, responsible leaders would have tried to get this fixed sooner. Make some good faith efforts and, compromise a little bit. Now, I'm not saying, like I said, a lot of that is excessive and people are taking advantage of the system. And that definitely needs to be reined in. But the majority of people, I think, that are on it probably need it. I'm sure there's about, I'm probably thinking 20 to 40% of the people are taking advantage of the situation and making a lot of money off of it. And those people need to be taken off. They need to be, So there we go. He said that's what he's going to do. So is there going to be problems? What do you think? What's your thoughts? Comment in the comment section if you're watching this in the archives. And if you're here in the live chat, what do you guys think? I'm just curious what you think. What are your thoughts right now? Type it in the chat. Tell me what you think. You think it's going to be resolved? Do you think Trump is going to stop this chaos from happening with all the protests? I mean, they've got planned protests all over the country for the 5th of November. What do you think? Is it gonna reverse? Is it gonna stop? Do you think they're gonna be able to get it done before that happens? How does, I'm not sure what you mean, Patty Lynch. Yeah, glad that you're a part of the channel too. I just saw that you signed up. Glad to have you on board there. 2 weeks, he's about to make his move. Trust the plan. Yeah, yes, definitely. I like that. 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, it'll be done. It'll be taken care of in 2 weeks. They always say 2 weeks. That's the meme. That's the funny thing that they say. In 2 weeks. TikTok, 2 weeks. Don't worry. It's time is ticking. Only 2 more weeks. Trust the plan. Let's see. What else we got here? Now, I was sitting here looking at Canadian prep guy last night, and I was thinking maybe we should talk about this. Let's talk about this. What do you think? I think this is it here. Let's take a look at. So, the prepper, if you guys know who he is, he has some good commentary. I like to listen to him. And I know he takes a lot of flack for basically telling people kind of similar to what I do, except he doesn't talk about Jesus. And that, he's always trying to scare people about the end of the world, that he's doing this to try to make money off of his prepping store, to get people aware of what could potentially happen, like lights out, grid down, nuclear war, invasion from adversaries, critical infrastructure ceasing to operate. And all that's real. All that could very well happen. And this is why I talk about it too. And we did do our store on the side there to support our channel, but I didn't make it a career the way he did. But at the same time, that's a good thing to get into. If you like if you believe in what you're doing as a business, then I don't see anything wrong with it. So he's gotten a lot of flack for that, saying that he's a warmonger or a fearmonger, that he's always trying to create fear. But I think that the reality of what's happening in the world, if you're not aware of what's going on, it would cause fear. If you just get, you're getting just a little, the bigger the understanding of what's happening, the better you can kind of brace for impact, prepare for what you're going to do, so that when it all does actually happen, then you have had some preparation. That's like training. If you're going to be in a fight one day, wouldn't you train a little bit? Wouldn't you think like, hey, maybe I should learn how to, do jujitsu or something? Like if I knew there was going to be some kind of conflict, and I was set to have this, battle, like Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, because they're going to set up an MMA fight. Don't you think that Elon would want to be in the gym and having a trainer teach him how to fight against Zuckerberg, who obviously knows how to do jiu-jitsu? You're not going to want to go out there and make a fool of yourself. So get some preparation. Understand that what's about to happen is going to impact you physically. It's going to impact you economically. Everything's going to, you got to have a plan. But the only way that happens is if you see what's going on and look at the big picture. Because all these forces, economic forces, political forces, they're all moving and positioning. And when you see the position, it's kind of like when you watch a movie about war, like the war it's like chess. It's a chess move, but they think 5 moves in advance. Like they're trying to set you up, and you have to be able to see the big picture so that you don't get checkmated. There's a lot of us are going to be in a situation, if we haven't war gamed it out and we haven't looked at everything, we might be in a situation where we're checkmated. You don't want that to happen, right? You want to win. You know, like Nacho, I want to win. I don't like losing. I want to win. So you want to win? All right. So buckle up. It's about to hit the fan. Trump officials like Marco Rubio and the head of the Department of Homeland Security have decided that for their own safety, it's best that they move on to military bases. Did you hear that? These officials are moving out of their homes that they have in D.C., and one of them, I think it's Stephen Miller. I think he's selling his home, like $3.7 million, and he's moving onto a military base. The same thing with Kristi Noem and Marco Rubio. Why are they doing this? What's the reason? Oh, they're also extending the stay of the National Guard in D.C. till, I think it was like February or March, or was it January or February? They were supposed to be leaving a little bit ago, right? But they're not leaving now, as of the other day. So doesn't this seem kind of strange to you that they're expecting something not good? So it says, not so that they can have a fast-track, unimpeded pathway towards a nuclear bunker when they inevitably do the table flip that we all know is coming. No, they say it's for some low-intensity civil unrest out of fear for their own safety and security. Could it have something to do with the suspension of SNAP benefits to millions of Americans this weekend? Which, of course, will give them nothing better to do with their time than to get into the streets and protest and commit crimes and burn down cities and rob and loot and steal. Possibly. Maybe just a coincidence, but who's to say? Either way, you know, the Trump administration proactively is planning to impose a nationwide state of emergency should that arise. They've already prepared quick readiness task force in every state, and they're getting ready to roll that out in the next 60 days. And by the way, those are like 500 strong units that they're going to deploy at a moment's notice into every single state or wherever there's trouble. These are going to be detachments of the National Guard. You have to ask yourself, why are they in such a rush? Could this have anything to do with the fact that yesterday Donald Trump announced that they're going to recommence nuclear testing after 33 years? 33? Why the use of the number 33? Again, 33 years? Sounds a little Masonic again. Once again, is there any numerologists out there after 33 years are planning to do nuclear testing? Come on. And J.D. Vance removed all doubt today when he unambiguously stated, when being asked by a reporter, that yes, indeed, they will be doing nuclear detonations. All right. And it's going to be very reminiscent of a scene out of the movie Idiocracy, where they're blowing up Not Sure's car, where the police are destroying it and everybody's cheering. Did you ever see that movie Idiocracy? I haven't, but I did see the clip. I thought the guy's name is Not Sure. Anyways, it's kind of a stupid movie, but I guess there's a point to it. But Trump is going to make nukes great again. Now, at the time of making this video, we have no press in the Pentagon that hasn't been hand-selected by the government. Isn't that interesting how they're doing that? Only those selected by the government are going to be allowed to report what they want them to report. And Dmitry Peskov, the spokesman for Vladimir Putin, has also said that we are going to see your nuclear testing and raise your nuclear testing. Didn't I just say that the other day? I used a poker analogy. Isn't that funny that he did the same thing? I said, we're going to call. I think he must be watching me because I said that the other day. I said, they're watching what Trump is doing, and they're saying, oh, I said that about China. I said, in relationship to China upping the ante with rare earth minerals, remember? I said, oh, they're just saying, okay, Trump, we think you're bluffing. We'll call you. And no, you don't say call. We will call your bet and see you another, and that's how you raise them, right? You re-raise them. When they raise you, you re-raise them. And then they're like, what? What kind of a hand do you have? Do you have a straight flush? Do you have a royal flush? Do you have, a full house? What do you got? And so the Chinese are in a place where they're like raising it. Well, he says the Russians are not only calling us, but they're raising us in the nuclear testing, race to try to make a point. And who knows, maybe it's going to be a race to who shoots the first nuke, because really the one that hits, that launches first and strikes first is probably the one country that's probably going to fare the best, right? When you're talking about nuclear attacks. So it says, and you can bet that the Chinese will follow in suit, because as confirmed by satellite, all three countries have been preparing their physical testing grounds for many years. So he's talking about Russia, but he's also saying the same thing about China. And that's kind of what I was saying the other day. I think Canadian Prepper's watching me. He must be. I gave him a good idea there. But anyways, no, I don't know. Peskov claims that the Russians will resume their nuclear testing if the Americans proceed with this. And I remind you that only 3 weeks ago, Vladimir Putin said that the U.S. is going to start doing nuclear testing again. It's good to pay attention to what Vladimir Putin says. We have the ongoing encirclement of Russia, the strangulation via sanctions, the attacking of their critical infrastructure surrounding them from sea to sea, from the Arctic to the Black Sea, to the Baltic, to the Caspian, and abroad. We have the distribution of strategic assets all around the world. And by the way, Trump just confirmed that they're going to give long-range, what they call them, Tomahawk missiles that are nuclear capable to the Ukrainians. You see how he keeps inching his way? He's just slowly, he pulls back, then he goes forward. He pulls back, and then he goes. And now they're just going to give these Tomahawks, which is going to bring a huge escalation. And this is these are nuclear capable platforms. This is why the Russians are freaking out right now, because they're thinking they got to strike first. They think Trump is getting too close now to the possibility of launching these Tomahawks with a nuke on them that could be a decapitation attack. I mean, think about it. You don't know what's on that missile because it could have a nuke on it, for all you know. It may not be conventional. It might be headed straight for Moscow. They have to look at it as a potential nuclear attack. And so what are they going to do? I mean, Trump is upping the ante hugely here. So it says we have the forward deployment of nuclear submarines. And that's what Trump let out of the bag a while back. Hey, we got nuclear subs now parked on your coast there, Russia. We got 2 of them. We even said 2. There's 2 of them. If you didn't know it already, there's 2. According to Donald Trump, they're to posture and threaten the Russians with thermonuclear Armageddon. What could go wrong? Let us not forget that there was a plenary session of the Pentagon High Command only a few weeks ago that I now suspect had something to do with the reason that Trump officials are moving onto military bases. Let's not forget about the B-2 bomber trial run where they attacked deeply fortified underground bases, a test run, if you will, of the U.S. stealth technology and their massive ordnance penetrators, which next time will likely have a nuclear weapon on them. And it won't be in Iran. Let's not forget that there are no nuclear treaties anymore, effective February of 2026, when New START expires, the START program, right? START treaty. There is no open sky treaty. There is no intermediate nuclear forces treaty. There is no treaty banning nuclear testing, even though there really hasn't been one in operation for some time. It certainly isn't now. And of course, there is no limitations on conventional forces, as a CFT treaty was suspended long ago in 2023. The Golden Dome is in full swing. That is the weaponization of space. Let's not forget about the weaponization of the Arctic. That was what that whole Greenland debacle was all about. Remember when right out of the gates they went for Greenland? Why do you think that it is? Why do you think that happened? And why don't you hear about it anymore? Isn't that interesting? The whole purpose was to get Pufik Air Force Base ready for the nuclear war that is about to start. We, of course, cannot forget about the Tomahawk fiasco, which is still lingering overhead. Now, this was posted yesterday, and it happened today, so he's going to be talking about that, I'm sure, tonight, of what Trump is doing right now and giving the green light to Ukraine to go ahead with those Tomahawks. The Tomahawk chop. Oh, Tomahawk chop, Tomahawk chop. So they're going to get the Tomahawks out there. We, of course, cannot forget the Tomahawk fiasco, which is still lingering overhead. We have nuclear weapons recently sent to Lockheed in the United Kingdom. More nuclear weapons. The United Kingdom also has their own. Of course, we have 200 F-35s in total already sent to Europe. 200? Wow. All of which are nuclear-capable platforms. They can, of course, deliver the Delia yield bombs that the United States has positioned in Europe. And I'm not sure what those are, but I guess they're those big bombs. Are they bunker busters? I don't even know. And now that Trump let it slip, they might have more nuclear weapons than the Russians. The Russians must presume that they have more than 100 nuclear weapons in Belgium, Turkey, and Germany, as they currently state, because of course, technically the Russians are supposed to have more. So if Trump is saying that we have more, you can pretty much bet that they're not going to respect any kind of treaties or any kind of nuclear doctrines from here on in. Let's not forget the Operation Spiderweb attempt to completely destroy one leg of the Russian nuclear triad. By some accounts, destroying 25 to 30% of their nuclear bomber capability or capacity. Not that the Russians care, because that's not their primary means of ending the world as we know it. Let's not forget that Germany and American nuclear weapons are placed. They will be receiving missiles in 2026. And then it goes on to say, in February, on the same month that the New START treaty is set to expire, Russia and NATO are now flying without transponders in the Baltic and the Black Sea. What could possibly go wrong there, you say? Unlike the Biden term, we now have manned ISR planes skirting the line of failure, getting dangerously close to Russian airspace, collecting data so that the Ukrainians can systematically attack Russian critical infrastructure and pick targets for NATO's weapon systems that U.S. is probably manning. Just absolutely crazy. And they're doing this with their transponders off, with manned planes, almost begging to be blown out of the sky by an S-400. Oh, my goodness. And if you don't know what an S-400 is, it's their mobile what is it? It's basically the defense weapons for air defense. Yeah, air defense, mobile. And they're those they're probably some of the best air defense systems out there. And I'm sure they can shoot down a lot of planes with it. But it says that these planes are not flying with their transponders on, which is not good. That means that we're kind of in a state of war right now anyway, right? We have U.S. blocking the conversation at the United Nations General Assembly on the demilitarization of space. Why? Because the Golden Dome is code for we're putting nuclear weapons in space. The nuclear pact with France and the UK was activated just a little over a month ago, and they're now talking about sharing their nuclear weapons with Germany. So not only will Germany have access to the American nukes at Ramstein, but also potentially France and the UK. Let's not forget this Venezuelan distraction, this naval development, which is just another extension of the distribution of strategic assets around the world. Look, if you knew that the ship was going to hit the fan, the ship, if you knew that the ship was about to hit the fan, you'd want to deploy some stuff to Southcom. Southcom is the southern area of defense, which would be South America, right, by our military. You'd want to make sure that you had significant amount of assets under the equator. They seriously want you to think that they're sending a carrier strike group along with some of their best weapon systems, billions of dollars in weapons to take out a few narco terrorists. Fortunately for them, people aren't that dumb. We have the delivery of long-range RAMs missiles to Ukraine and pretty much the green light from both Europe and the tacit approval of the United States for Ukraine to target whatever they want, whenever they want, wherever they want, inside of Russia. This is why Russia's capital of Moscow is currently saturated with multi-layered air defense, and you have troops walking around the Kremlin on a regular capacity that they weren't previously. Russia is aligned or alleged to have been moving RS-24 Yars launchers. These are their mobile nuclear platforms, the older ones at night. Okay, the reason why they're doing this is the reason why they move these platforms is they must perceive that we are potentially about to start a nuclear war. Now, you would only do this if you are somewhere in between DEFCON 3 and DEFCON 2 equivalent. Wow. And because there is no New START treaty prohibiting this anymore, at least not one that's being honored, obviously, they're not going to do what they're going to do. They're going to do what they're going to do. I should remind you that they've rolled out several weapons that they claim are fully effective, although I'm kind of skeptical because if the hypersonic Kinzhal and Zircon missiles were as effective as they say they were, we would see no Patriots in use in Ukraine whatsoever because these are supposed to be an indomitable weapon. And those are what, hypersonics that you can't really defend against. And so our Patriot missiles battery system would never even be able to stop those anyway. But apparently the Patriot must be having some success because the Ukrainians keep asking for it. We have the Arnik. We have the Samuret 2, aka Satan missile, which can carry 50 megatons of nuclear warheads. We have the Poseidon drone, which can carry 100 megatons and will be for the purpose of taking out carrier strike groups and our nuclear submarines. Let's not forget about the Bervik nuclear-powered cruise missile, which is a first strike missile. And, of course, the Avangard, which will be used on the Sarmad hypersonic glide vehicle, which good luck shooting one of those down, much less 1,000. So they have 1,000 of these. What? We, of course, have weekly global nuclear exercises now. It seems like every day there's another nuclear exercise happening somewhere in the world. Russian doomsday anomalies abound every other week. Now we're hearing things on the Russian doomsday radio station that we've just never heard before. Military shenanigan corridors are being opened up across Europe. What this is going to allow is for the fast, rapid deployment of mechanized battalions across Europe, across countries unimpeded by borders. They're going to be doing widening of bridges and things of that nature, getting ready to presumably fight a conventional war with the Russians. I don't think so. It's probably to lock down their own population after the dust settles. We have Medvedev, who cannot be forgotten, essentially saying that Trump better watch out because we are now at war with Russia. Like I said, Moscow air defense is completely saturated. There is immense amounts of air defense systems in and around Moscow region. Let's not forget about the drone incursions into Europe, into European countries, a fivefold increase in your Ukrainian drone attacks under the Trump administration. We have the boarding of Russian ships in the Baltic Sea. We, of course, have the nuclear pact with North Korea, who I should add now has nuclear submarines. What? Apparently, coincidentally, time with that movie just got put out on Netflix. What? Isn't that interesting? I wonder what kind of false flag they're getting ready to cook up. You really got to wonder at this point. And let's not forget, North Korea does have an ICBM capability. And let's also not forget that they've been doing recon by firing or by fire using Ukrainian drones to try to find weaknesses in the Russian air defense system for the last few weeks. Okay, we have the Belgian defense minister threatening to wipe Russia off the map, even if they only hit Europe with a conventional weapon. We have the rare earth ban that China hasn't officially lifted. Notice how there's been no real comment from the Chinese since that meeting with Donald Trump. Yeah, that's what I was saying. And it said 12 and out of 10 or something like that. What did he say? Let me see what he said here. Let me listen to what he says here.
No real comment from the Chinese since that meeting that Donald Trump said was a 12 and 10 out of 10 or something like that.
A 12 and 10 out of 10. So he said it was such a good meeting with Xi Jinping, and he looked like he was the beta, in the whole exchange when they were sitting there, patting each other. He was patting him on the back, and it looked like Trump was more of a lapdog to me. That's the image that came across, and than anything, like Xi Jinping was in control. Trump was trying to pretend like he was in control. He was trying to do all the power moves, but it didn't look like Trump had anything over on Xi Jinping at all. Trump looked like he's got to go along with this because he doesn't have any control. And we don't. Honestly, we don't. I mean, they've checkmated us practically. We have the canceled meeting with Donald Trump. We have the European war mobilization. Wait a minute. We have threats against Kaliningrad by the U.S. military. I guess they've threatened Kaliningrad. We have the canceled meeting with Donald Trump. We have the European war mobilization. That was the canceled meeting with Putin. We have the European war mobilization and spending, the handing out of booklets on how to survive nuclear Armageddon, conscription, EBT riots pending. This is all stuff that's happened just in the last few weeks. He's just listing out all of the stuff that just looks like it's complete and utter end of the world apocalypse. I'm surprised that he's not a believer yet. He's basically giving a prophecy update better than most Christians would probably do. So I'm kind of wondering why he really hasn't actually seen that everything that he's saying is lining up with biblical prophecy, why he's not a believer yet. We're going to have to keep praying for this guy. Keep on praying for Canadian Prepper. And then he says, we have the Kremlin mobilizing conscripts on a rolling basis as opposed to a couple times a year. We have hybrid warfare in Europe. Now we're seeing refineries go up in smoke in Hungary and Romania. We still have SpaceX masquerading as some civilian program. And Elon Musk masquerading as Tony Stark. Not sure who that is. He's actually an alien. He's masquerading as Elon Musk. He's actually the false prophet. He fits perfectly with the false prophet. The false prophet calls down fire from heaven. You know how his rockets land? They look like a ball of fire coming out of heaven. Not to mention the fact that he's fast-tracked singularity and the AI, and that's the image of the beast right there. Elon fits it perfect, man. He even looks like an alien. Gold is still over 4,000. Thank you very much. Anti-satellite, and he's been talking about that. When you see gold, this is what a lot of people say that are in the metals. If you ever do see gold go up to $4,000 an ounce, it's the end of the world. And what do we have? Gold at $4,000 an ounce. So, anti-satellite weapons testing abound. Anti-satellite weapons testing abound. Mounting sanctions being primed by the media. You got Mr. Beast sleeping in a bunker every other month, now making visits to Cheyenne Mountain as if that's where they're going to be sending people. Really? People still think they're going to use Raven Rock and Cheyenne Mountain. I assure you that a lot of the money in the black budget is going to building some really, really big underground bases that you and your family are never going to have access to, which is why you should prepare. We also have a bunker building across every single continent by the elites. We have bunker building going on. They're all getting ready for the shizzy to hit the fizzy. And we have the ticking time bomb looming overhead. And then he said, thanks for watching, and just shut it off. And that's Canadian Prepper. Well, that's Prepper News. If you want to check out his videos, he's Prepper News. Prepper News. But hey, we'll go over some of his stuff too and give you the commentary from our perspective as well, right here. But anyways, I think I'm going to head off myself. God bless, guys. I love you all very much in Jesus' name, in the mighty name that is above every other name that can be named in heaven and in earth and under the earth. The name that every knee will bow to and every tongue confess eventually, willingly or unwillingly, when everything is culminated and everybody stands before the judge of the earth and the heavens and the earth. Everybody's going to have to realize that, you know, they either really screwed up and they really, you know, lost their lives, because there is a second death. It's not just dying once here on earth. There is a second one. Or you're going to enter into life. Which one are you going to choose? Do you have that all figured out yet? Has the Lord spoke to your heart? Because he does speak to every human's heart, and you have to make a choice. Make sure you make the right choice. And when you do make that choice, continue in that choice. Continue developing that choice. Feed on God's word, and his Spirit will continue to show you his will. It really is about a processing and I say a cleansing, if you want to say sanctification. It's a process of setting your heart apart, and God Most High is at work within us, right? It says, work out your salvation with fear and trembling, for it's God who is at work within you, both to will and to work of his good pleasure. So let God do his good pleasure in you and his will in you, and you just agree with him and work it out. You have to work it out. If you don't work it out, you don't agree with God. You have to agree with his will. You know, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. You got to say, your will be done, not mine. If you can do that, and you can say, and you can be good with that, whatever God, your will is, let me know it, and I will do it. If you can just say that to God and he shows you, then all you got to do is obey, and you're good. And then you'll see the hand of God moving in your life on a daily basis, you know, opening up doors, shutting certain doors, you know, taking away certain desires that may not be in accordance with his will, and giving you new desires that are in accordance with his will. And fulfilling your heart's desire is something that God really wants to do. He's not here to kill your joy. He's not here to take away your life. Now, that doesn't mean that you might not be having to, you know, amen. Thank you very much, Killer Kyle. God bless, man. Are the super chats working? They are, bro. I just saw that. Awesome, man. They are working. Thank you much. And hey, I was going to talk to you about Dana Coverstone really quick. God bless you, bro. So Dana Coverstone had this message right about the same time that we had the same word, right? Because we have a fellowship, we have an online fellowship that this is an extension of that fellowship. We do it every day now over on the main channel, or on the and it should be the main channel. That's the core. That's the hub. That's the very essence of what this channel is all about, is the BP Ministries channel, right? But we've had a fellowship going all the way back to 2011. And so some of you may remember that when Dana Coverstone had this dream, which I believe was prophetic, and he kind of tries to downplay it. Now, obviously, Dana Coverstone is a pastor. Dana Coverstone is submitted to a board and to a denomination. He's very limited in many ways on what he can and can't do at certain points. Obviously, if he feels the Spirit of God tells him to do so, he does it, but he always submits it to someone else. What do you think? Like with me, that's not what I do. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not submitted to scrutiny, and I'm not saying that I'm a, self-styled kind of, but I do hear, and I do believe the Lord leads. And he has us to work with other believers that are of mature faith. So we are, submitted one to another in the fear of the Lord. I would submit myself to anyone that has any critical, critique, I should say, or message, right? And by the way, there is somebody that I'm supposed to get back to online there, and I'll talk to them. Anyway, one thing I wanted to say about Dana Coverstone is that this message about bracing yourselves, we got the same message the same week that video went out, was brace for impact. All the headlines right now are saying brace for impact. Dana Coverstone got the attention of many people in the church with that video that went viral at the same time. And remember, I tried to get in touch with him, and I did. I'm probably one of the only guys that has interviewed Dana Coverstone at least, 3 or 4 or 5 times. He doesn't really do interviews, but I was able to get in touch with this guy to confirm that I had the same word, almost word for word, except our word was brace for impact. His was brace yourselves. Everything in the dream that he shared, a lot of it came to pass. This is why it went viral. But there were other dreams that he chronicled that never seemingly came to pass that I think potentially could very well happen this year. There was one about the lights going out, about the stock market crash, about troops on the streets. We could literally see something pretty bad go down with the way things I think are currently going. If you're really watching the trends and you're looking at what potentially could go wrong, I don't know if you have the same sense, but I have this kind of sense that things are really out of control on many different levels, economically, politically, socially. Things are very in a precarious moment now, and it feels very off. A lot of people are saying the same thing. Something's very, very askew. It's a very dangerous time right now. This is a very, very dangerous time. And anything can potentially happen, and especially with a leader like Trump, I do not trust him. I do not trust him. I do not trust his character, and I don't know how any Christian could. Right on, Killer Kyle. God bless. So 5 people got. Look at that. So 5 people got memberships. Right on. Teresa got a membership. Renee got a membership. Christina Smith, and it does it randomly. So all you guys have randomly become members, right? Brian Barrett, Amanda Zagosa. You thank Kyle right there, because Kyle just got you guys a membership to the BP News channel. Isn't that amazing? You guys are awesome. Thank you much, Kyle. God bless you again. God bless you, double portion, Kyle. And I do believe that God we pray for all of you out there that God blesses you in every way, whether you give or whether you're just here to receive, because, hey, we're supposed to do both, really. And we give of ourselves wherever we're at, right? You should be doing that. You see somebody in need, try to reach out. You see somebody that looks lost, talk to them, love them, care for them, open your door to them, be hospitable, be trusting, but also be discerning. Don't just open the door to anybody, but also be willing to receive too. Sometimes humility, and God wants to develop humility in us. We have to be in a place where we can receive too. So if you're out there and you're afraid to receive and you're afraid to pray for, for God to answer your prayer, and you have not because you ask not. But when you do ask, you ask with wrong motives. It says that you might consume it upon your own lust. So what do you got to do? You got to ask in accordance with his will. It says, then we know that he hears us. And then if we ask, so like I said, ask, don't be afraid to pray and ask God to show you what to do. Because sometimes he might tell you, humble yourself and go say, go to that person and share your heart with them and tell them what's going on. Because I'll answer your prayer through another person. Or he might miraculously just send some ravens to your door and give you something that you need. Or he might, this is the way God works. So always trust God. MTM, yeah, okay, MTM, I did see your email. I just wanted to let you know. I did see your email, and I plan on getting back to you. I just have been overwhelmed with things that I had to do. So I meant to message you, but I think I saw your message the other night late, and I didn't want to message you because I was tired, and it was late. But I will get back to you, MTM. So God bless you, brother, and I'll be sending you a message here in the next day or so. Let's see. Your air ducts need to be replaced, but can't find anybody to help me. Please pray for me. Okay, amen. Yeah, just pray for those little things because God cares about everything. He cares about all of our, our needs. Whatever those needs are, he cares. So God bless all you guys out there. And in the meantime, go check out our other channel, BP Ministries. What I'll try to do is I'll link it to this video once it's up. There's a new feature on YouTube called collaboration. And when you collab with another channel, it'll put their icon at the bottom. Oh, by the way, I didn't finish what I was going to say about Dana Coverstone. So the Brace for Impact statement is all over the news. Everything is on the news. It says Brace for Impact, Brace for Impact, Brace for. And I think that this might be the moment where a lot of what God spoke to Dana Coverstone with, which I believe was in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, God used our coinciding word, which actually had a little bit more of a punch to it because you're talking about impact. That message was going to be confirmed at a certain time in the future when things would start to culminate and come to a head. And I think that's where we're at right now. We're at the head part, where it's going to come to a head. And this is where impact begins. I think we're at the impact point. So you might want to be prayerfully considering having everything that, top off stuff, be prepared in every way. There could be critical infrastructure failure. There could be civil unrest. There could be war, not just over there, but it could happen here. You never know. I mean, with the way technology is now, China has lots of back doors, and they haven't backed down on their rare earth mineral thing. And Trump is to me, Trump is an unhinged personality that I would not trust. Just saying. I'm just looking at character here. I'm not. It has nothing to do with politics. Okay, this has nothing to do with politics. So you guys should be thinking about all that. God bless you all, and keep on praying for us. And thank you guys for supporting what we're doing. All you guys out there that support us, I appreciate you. And in the meantime, keep on praying, keep on sharing, keep on speaking, and meet us over there at the BP Ministries channel tomorrow. You can, if you're subscribed, you'll get the message, you'll get the update. And if you're on our Telegram page, we always alert our Telegram page whenever I go live. And if you don't, just watch it in the archives. All right. God bless. In Jesus' name, we'll talk to you soon. Amen.